Hello, good morning. This is Sue Chemnitz, and I want to welcome you. I'm so glad you could join me. I am an artist, an art journaler. I run a blog on my website, SueChemnitz.com, and I'm working on some inspirational and instructional videos to share with you, hopefully the first quarter of next year. So welcome, welcome, welcome. The first thing I want to do is share a little bit about how I did this background. This background is just mostly gesso and a little bit of paint, just to put a light background on. We've titled this morning's video Dancing with the Stars, and I have these stars that we're going to put on here later on. I cut them out so that I don't have to bore you while I'm cutting them out. And right now the first thing I want to do is just put some color in the background without overwhelming the background. So oh, by the way, I just want to explain this a little bit too. This fits in my journal. It will eventually be cut in half and will be a spread in my journal, and at some future date I'll do something on the back of it, but not this morning. We'll just stick to one side this morning. So what to do with the background here. Just put a little bit of color in, just in some varied spots. If you put some color in a couple different spots, it'll actually carry your eye around your page and be helpful. And I'm going to go across that middle spread so that it kind of continues from one side to the other. So yes, I have learned to embrace working with my fingers. Just kind of fun. So there's color number one. I love some of these colors together. You will see me using them actually quite often. Again, I'm going to repeat just a little bit on a couple of different sides. I hope I keep speaking loud enough. That one got a little gray there, but that's from mixing that orange and blue, greenish blue. Isn't that just the most gorgeous color? That is actually called green blue light. Blue-green light is an entirely different color. It's actually this green, so just be careful of that when you're buying it. These come from Dick Blick. I'm not necessarily married to any particular brand, but I do a lot of my shopping there online. There's a link on my website if you want to visit them from there. It is helpful for me. And you can order from anywhere, so even if you're not where I am, you can do that. I want to make sure and leave some white space on here. I don't want everything slathered, and I am actually rinsing off my fingers in between. I have a little pot of water here on the side that I'm using. These two colors, as opposed to orange, mixing with my cool colors. Orange is a warm color. These go very nicely together, and try not to get too much on there. So try not to totally slather too much paint on there. Like that. I don't like that orange little thing in the middle, but that's okay. Okay, so I have just a little bit of color in the background. Maybe just, no, I think I'm just finished with that kind of light background area. Maybe just a little bit of pink, just to have a little pop. I think I'll put it right here next to that, and a little bit down there. This is actually golden. Like I said, I'm not necessarily married to any one brand. So just get a little bit of that pink in there. That just makes me happy. Orange and pink have kind of been my go-to colors this year, and they just make me happy when they're together. I don't quite know why they make me so happy, but they do, and I'm just going with that. And I'm going to put just a little bit of this bright yellow here. This is a Liquitex. That was golden. This is Liquitex. Ah. And you know what? That'll be broken up. That is super bright, which is why I'm not going to use it anywhere else. But I like that start a lot. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to actually put some stencils. I have a whole box of, well, not a whole box, I could have more, but I have my share of stencils over there in the corner. And this is my newest stencil I really like. I may put some of that over here, but not quite yet. I'm going to wait for that to dry just a little bit more there. I think I'm going to put some of these two stencils on there. And I will just some circles and some squares, pretty easy, pretty basic. And I'm going to put this bone color. I think that's what it's called. Oh, no, it's called Off-White. Must be another brand that's actually called Bone. And I take a cosmetic sponge, if I have one here on my table. Uh-oh. Phew, I have a little stash right in back of me, and thankfully I had one in there. I don't know what happened to them. They could be buried in the mess here. That's okay. So I do love these squares a lot. As you know, I usually have a piece of tissue paper over here on the side that I like doing things on, but I don't today because I had to get this whole spread on here, so I kind of had to use the whole side there. One more spot, maybe just tone down a little bit of that yellow there. Oh, that went up there. That's okay. I like that. I actually kind of like that. So we'll stick that over in my little container. I'm going to take this stencil and actually bring some of the green down. I'm going to wash off my sponge a little bit, although that wouldn't be necessary with those colors. Alright, so I'm going to get a little bit of this green, I think. Nope. I'm going to go with my green blue light because, like I said, I do really like that color. I should probably look and make sure that you can still see what I'm doing. You can, okay. Yay. I'm going to put these ends down here, and what I'm doing here is I'm actually drawing this color down. So see how that just kind of blends in there? And then there's another opportunity to go up right here. And I often like to do that, you know, just bring one color down and keep on going. It'll be a little bit more difficult on this side. Notice I'm stamping it a little bit down here so that it's not too gunky as I stamp through the stencil. You know, stencils are great for people who don't consider themselves artists. They just take, it seems to me, and granted, I do consider myself an artist, but it seems to me it takes a lot of the stress out of it because it's not up to you to do everything. It's kind of, you know, when scrapbooking was super popular, and maybe it still is, I just never followed it, but I think that was part of the popularity of it, is that it was easy for people to do. It just wasn't stressful, and it was relaxing, and that's what this is for me when I'm just doing it late at night. It's just feeds my soul, feeds my spirit. So, all right, I think we have enough of that. You know, it's always, the conundrum is always putting enough but not too much on it. So I think I'm going to try out this stencil. See, I already have some purple paint on it, which, oh my gosh. You know, sometimes you just create something that you absolutely do not like, and that's what I did when I was preparing for this. So I hope this turns out this morning. Too funny. I know you guys think that it just always turns out for us, but it doesn't. That's just that's your little free encouragement for the day. Keep on going. Keep on trying. Astronauts come to mind, maybe because we're doing stars a little bit later, but you know what? They probably didn't get there their first time. Doctors didn't operate perfectly their first time either, as scary as that might be. That's why they're with somebody else. And that's why I'm creating those videos, so that you'll have a little more instruction too. All right, so, oh, I like that. Isn't that pretty? I think I'll do a little bit of that over here too. I have a whole lot of that color left here, so that is going to have to do. Yep, I do. I like that a lot, actually. I like that a lot. I'm going to rinse off my sponge here, and I'm kind of looking around to see. It's kind of empty down here, don't you think? I think we need to bring a little more color down here, maybe a reflection of that pink. And I don't, like I said, I don't want it to go all the way up. I want to leave some white space. And I think that's good. Now I'm going to take a little bit of, I want to put some darker corners on it. So that's my next thing. And I'm not going to put those right on my paper here, but I am going to pick this up and just kind of rub some along the edge. I saw this called like kind of a grunge look, and you've seen me do it with my stamp pad, but I want it to come a little bit further up. So, you know, darks are so important, and that is one of the things that I'm really working on, is getting enough dark into my work so that the light just pops. And let's reflect that up in this corner up here. Oh gosh, I hope I'm not wandering off the screen. Sorry. Part of kind of doing it live. All right, I like that a lot. And I'm just going to pull it on these, up on these edges a little bit too. Like I said, like I often do with my stamp pad, but I'm just doing it with my finger here. That was a little heavy in there. I wasn't anticipating that, but that's okay. Calls for just a little bit more right there, and then just go over that edge, because I really like doing that. All right, what do we think here? Anything else? Nope, I think that is exactly what I want so far. And yes, some people start and just don't have an idea. That is not my style. So I did, like I said, I did cut out these stars beforehand. It's called Dancing with the Stars. I've just had this thing about stars, and I think last week I mentioned Dina Wakely and her stars. And I kind of tried doing some stuff with those, and they didn't work. So I decided, hey, I want my own little dancing stars, because I really like my dancing stars. So we're going to do that. Which kind of glue to use? I'm going to try just using this. Remember that glue from last week? Oh my gosh. Okay, so I know that you can't see this over here, but I don't want to get glue all over this. So I'm going to go off to the side here and put my little Oohoo glue on my star. And we're going to put that little guy right there. Here's my target card. Hopefully those corners will stay down. I think they're okay. This could... All right, next star. I feel kind of badly that you guys can't see me glue, but you'll get over it. Stars in the Bible are symbolic for angels, and I think maybe that's partly why I'm so entranced with stars, because I've just been kind of having an angel year. That little guy goes right there. I should show you my, I'm going to put the last star on, and then I'm going to show you my sketchbook, because, you know, sometimes you think, gosh, those little guys just happen automatically, and, you know, they don't. I spent a little bit of practice time in my sketchbook making stars. One of the great things about this Oohoo glue is that it shows up blue when you have the glue on there, so you can kind of tell if you have it on enough. He's going to go right down there. And you would think that I would, where's my card? You would think that I would want more dark in back of my stars, but I'm going to experiment with a little bit of outlining. And I wanted to show you, I'm done with these colors. I'll put them right over here on top of this glue so that I won't be able to pick that up. And this is my little Bible journal for the day, my little shield and my sword. Here's my stars where I was practicing them yesterday. This is how I started out. And I started out with some writing inside of them, and I just couldn't get them to work like I wanted them to. So literally at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm like, gosh, why don't I use my own little dancing stars that I like so much? And so that's what I did, and I really like that a lot better. And at the end, we'll put, maybe we'll put a little bit of that writing on, we'll see. So that's my sketchbook that has all my little notes up there. All right, so we have our stars on. The glue is still just a little wet, but it's drying pretty fast. So, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pencil. I'm kind of debating which pencil. I'm going to take a pencil and I'm just going to outline these stars. And that's really part of the reason that I didn't want a dark background up there. And you know what? These stars are going to be hanging. Whoop. Don't you love that? Because you know who they're from. Jesus himself. Okay, so that's enough of a background. I'm going to move this before I get it all over the place. And I promise next week to have a pretty background for you. This is just a shade. It looks the same color, but it's actually a bluish color. And I'm just putting some shading on the one side to really pop off that one side. And then I'm going to take my brush, which is up here, and some water, which I know you can't see my water. I can probably move that over. I'm sure that's exactly why you came, just to see the water, didn't you, in my little yogurt cup. I actually usually make my own yogurt, so don't go out and buy that just because, yeah, whatever. Getting distracted, huh? Okay, I don't really want all of that. I did put a layer of white in back of the tissue paper that I used on there. A layer of white paint before I drew them on and cut them off. Just building in my shadows. And that's probably enough of that. And then I have some words that I want to put on there, but I'm going to dry that just for a second. Maybe. And let's see, I'm drying it because I keep on wrecking my little pens. So this is from my friend Jill. I bet she wonders if I ever use that. All right, and where to put my writing? And I was kind of experimenting with that too because it just was not doing it. Sorry for reaching across. And I really kind of liked the writing that went outside rather than inside. And granted, I printed a little bit nicer there, so I think I'm going to stick with that idea because I liked it when it was done. Right. a bright morning star. The light of the world. Beautiful Savior. All right, that is it for that little writing piece. And you know what? I think I'm going to put just a couple of little, I just want to bring a little bit of this color down into this. Some of the pink. Probably could have done just a little bit more of that, don't you think? Just line those little dots up. Oh yeah, I do really like that. And a little bit of that yellow, even though it was super bright. And I'll get some of that beautiful, whatever this is, green blue. I actually kind of like the pink and the yellow together. It makes kind of a beautiful peachy color. So I'm going to bring some of that right here. And then just one more. I'm going to try and use the other side here. Yep, and that, I think I like the way that ties those into the background just a little bit. So there you go. There's my little journal piece that'll show up in my journal after I cut it in half. And I am just super happy with this. I hope you enjoyed this morning. Sorry there isn't quite as much light here as I would love for there to be this morning, but hey, we did it. Yay! You all have an absolutely beautiful day. If you are so inclined, stop in at my website, SueKemnitz.com, and sign up for my blog. I would love to have you there. It's a little inspiration, a little creativity, some how-tos every now and then. And love to all of you. Thanks for joining me, and see you again maybe next week soon. Okay, hugs.